Hello, this video is for my fellowship and anybody else who finds it useful. We're going to go over the ways to boost your troops in Elvenar. Now, Elvenar is always changing and evolving, so this is December 2025 that this is accurate of. We're going to talk about Ancient Wonders, the military-specific boost buildings, the Fire Phoenix, Event Phoenix, the Cauldron, and Spire boosts. I do want to note, first, we're only going to talk on this one about ways to make your troops more powerful. Ways to get troops and use them are separate topics. And forgive me for any editing issues. I'm just doing what I can. The thing in Elvenar that makes fighting so powerful is that if your troops, through numbers or their sheer power, are overwhelmingly powerful, they don't die. And then you beat a spire or tournament or province without losing any resources at all. It costs you nothing or next to nothing. So if you're taking fights and you're losing most or all of your troops, you probably shouldn't have taken that fight. At least not very often. So let's look here. Let's start with Ancient Wonders. You will unlock these Ancient Wonders as you progress through the chapters. The most important Ancient Wonder for somebody who wants to fight in Elvenar, in my opinion, is the Martial Monastery right here. That's what it looks like for elves. Humans have one called the Sanctuary. And the reason this is so important is because it boosts your troop health. And this is all of your troops. Doesn't matter what type they are or what building they came out of. It's the one building that can permanently do the best job of boosting all of your troops. As you can see, it's more powerful the higher level it is, like all of the Ancient Wonders. But with new changes that they've made, the power of these Ancient Wonders doesn't increase as much with level at the high levels, here you see like 0.5%, as it does at the low levels. So here you see we're getting 1.5% per level. So with a lot of these, they really start slowing down around the break from 15 to 16. Every 5, where you have to invest royal restorations, is a more powerful jump. But instead of 1%, now we're getting 0.5%. So with a lot of these Ancient Wonders, if you can get them to level 16, you're getting most of their benefit. And anything on top of that is gravy. So that's the Martial Monastery, or again for humans, the Sanctuary. Next, the Victory Springs will boost the damage of all of your light melee units by a bit over 1/3 if you get it to level 16. It also speeds up your training grounds training speed, which is very important for getting more troops. You can see just from level 16 here, my training grounds is going nearly twice as fast. That's a bit later in the tech tree, though. One of the first ones you'll have access to will be these Needles of the Tempest, which increase your barracks training speed, which is amazing because your barracks is your first and main troop-producing building. And it will also boost the damage of all of your light ranged units. I like using ranged units because if they can kill the enemy while it's walking across the map, they don't die. And again, we like things that don't die because then we can use them again and again and again. Next would be mages. We're going to come up this way. The Dragon Abbey is the one you're looking for here from the Sorcerers and Dragons chapter, I believe. This one will boost your mage damage and also give you mana whenever you cast an enchantment. For heavy melee from the Orcs chapter, we have the Hero's Forge. This one makes orcs, which is very useful as a resource, and also boosts your heavy melee unit's damage. And finally, we have the Temple of the Toads up here. I think this one's halflings. Certainly has their design aesthetic going on. This one makes some of whatever your race heavy melee troop is. Heavy ranged, excuse me. And it also boosts the damage of all of your heavy ranged troops. Okay, that covers the Ancient Wonders. Checking my notes. Tablet with my notes on it went to sleep. Boost buildings. There are a set of expiring buildings here. One for each of the 5 types of troops, plus Unleashed and the Dwarven Armor. These each last for 5 days. They're expiring buildings. If you are working on the spire, you can put them out on like Thursday or Friday, do the whole spire, and they'll last until the next spire comes out on Sunday. Or you can do the end of one tournament and the start of the next the same way to get double use out of one set of buildings. Where do these come from? The main place that they come from is your Magic Academy. In your crafting, you will see that in this spot, the far left spot, these boosts is where these boost buildings will sometimes show up. Now, if you didn't know, every time new recipes come out, all of these refresh unless you're still building. So if this catalyst that I'm building is still in process, this center spot will not refresh and give me a new option. That includes if it's finished and I haven't collected it. So what you want to do is make sure that you finish that off. And then when you see one of these, if you can spare the time boosters, what you want to do is start them and then immediately finish them so that way, the next time this rolls over, I will get another building here in this spot, which is the only place these boost buildings can show up, which will then give me another chance to get another one. For other things, I also want the pet food while I'm here. These are also gainable, the 5 main ones, in something called the Tome of the Fearless, which I'll show you in a moment, but the main place to get it is this mystical object that you get every time you get 100 vision vapor. Some of the mystical objects will have a Tome of the Fearless, which shows up in your spells in sorceries. And it lets you get goods if you don't want to be fighting, but it lets you get any of the 5 troop-specific buildings. Each of these gives more attack for the unit in question. 75% for the melee, which is nice, because as I said, melee has a harder time because it's got to walk across the map before it can start hurting things. And 50% for your ranged and mages. One big thing is to note it says bonus can be stacked. Oops, need to get a pointer. Right here. That's really key because it means that if you want to, if you have them, you can put out like 6 magnificent mage multipliers, and then you would be doing, I'm not good at mental math, you'd be doing several times the normal damage. They all stack additively. I believe it's additive. On top of the 5 for the 2 melee, the 2 ranged, and the mage, showing up in the Magic Academy, you can get this here Unleashed unit upgrade. This will increase all of your troop health. That's all of them. It's only 25%, but since that stacks, and again, all sources of boosts for your troops stack. Use them all at once. You'll be amazingly powerful. Stacks on top of things like the Martial Monastery and the Dwarven Armorer. This one does not show up in the Magic Academy. The main place to get this is as a reward in chests in the Spire, especially the mystery chests that show up on the side. And this will boost all of your troop health by 50%. Again, stacking. So between an Armorer, an Unleashed upgrade, and my an Unleashed unit, and my Martial Monastery, all of my troops now have plus over 100% health, which means they have more than twice as much health, which means what? They don't die. So, what's next? Oh, Fire Phoenix. This here is the Fire Phoenix. This is along with the Martial Monastery, either the second or the most important building if you're fighting. It is a bit of a project to get. You'll also hear it affectionately referred to as the Fire Chicken. How do you get this thing? Well, back in crafting, if you do not have a Fire Phoenix in inventory, it has a chance to show up here in this left spot. If you have one in your inventory or placed, and whether you've placed it or not, you will not get another one showing up. So if you have one from many chapters ago, you could either place it and upgrade and not upgrade it, because the main effect we're going to talk about does not care what chapter it is. You could place it and upgrade it with Royal Restorations, or you could sell it or disenchant it and eventually, maybe, luck of the draw, one will show up here that is in your current chapter, which might happen tomorrow or might happen months from now, especially depending on how frequently you're checking in to actually check every recipe refresh. Once you have one, you're going to want to evolve it. To do that, you need Phoenix artifacts. Those show up in this right spot. Note you're looking not just for a Fire Phoenix artifact, there is often a Phoenix artifact that will work for 3 different Phoenixes. The cost here will be 9 blueprints. 3 blueprints. Gosh, probably panicked some people. This will cost 3 blueprints or 300 diamonds per blueprint you don't have. So 900 diamonds if you don't have any blueprints. If you're in an active fellowship, you should get 1 blueprint a week from tournament. There's also a blueprint in Spire, or chance at it. So this is definitely a long-term project to just work on the side. But if you start working on it, why do we go to all that trouble? What this beautiful little bird does is when you feed it, it will make all of your troops, all of them, have 50% more damage for 24 hours. It's 50% if you evolve it. It's still usable at lower levels. At rank or level stage 5, that's what they call it. It's 25%, which is still excellent. So even while you're evolving it, you can start using it. You don't have to wait till you finish the thing and line up all the artifacts. By the way, there's what the Phoenix artifact looks like. You'll notice, like it says, it can evolve any of the 3 core or earliest Phoenixes. And like it tells you there, they'll show up as crafting recipes. So when I go to feed this Fire Phoenix, it will last for 24 hours. And now, with that plus these troop boosters right here, all of my units are doing double damage. And that's before all the Ancient Wonders for each of the units. So they're each doing 1 1/3 extra damage. So more than double damage. With, again, more than double health. So they don't die, and they kill things before they can get killed themselves. Those are the main, what I would think of as the core troop boosters. Ancient Wonders, those boost buildings, the Fire Phoenix. Work on those if you want to improve your fighting. These other 3 categories are gravy, basically. Extra stuff that helps. Event buildings. I don't currently have any of these, but there are occasionally some event buildings from, like, the Azure Hoarder set, I think it is, that you can summon if you search for expiring buildings, and you can just type in XP in this search bar, and you get your expiring buildings. They're similar to these gleaming blocks, crystal caps. They're little 1x1 buildings that last 30 or 45 or 60 days and give you like 5%-ish melee damage or 5% range damage. They're fun. They're nice. If you've got them, use them. That's why I don't have any. They show up in events sometimes. Next is the Cauldron. Now, the Cauldron is something that got added to Elvenar, and honestly, you can totally be forgiven if you have just totally ignored this. Let's pretend for a moment that you're paying attention to the Cauldron and you want to use it to boost your troops. Which ingredients are diamonds and which ones are just points changes each week. What you're going to want to look at is this column and this column. The 3rd and 4th columns. Those are the ones that have the significant chances to boost your troops. These top 2 will be for barracks troops, the middle 2 for training grounds troops, and the bottom 2 for mercenary camp. This 3rd column is slightly better. It'll come in with a 6% chance to give you a troop boost. And the right column gives you a 5.7% chance to come in with a troop boost, and best is if you can do both, or more. So you see it by using both, I got a 9.3% chance, whereas 2 of the same one is 8.5%. So I would not spend diamonds on Cauldron ingredients, unless you're just dripping with money and don't care. What I do is I take whatever of these ingredients don't cost diamonds this week, and I'll just chuck some of them in the pot. Ta-da! That's about 1/10 of my total points there, leaving the rest for improving things. I've got about a 50% chance to get something, and about 20-some% of the time I'll get a troop boost. So we hit brew. It thinks about it. It says, hey, are we sure? And I say, yeah, go ahead. No. Goods. Nope, nothing for troops. But there's a chance that you get some sort of troop boost. And like you saw, if you work on these, you can get them up to where it's like 19 or 20% on top of everything else. So it lasts a few hours. So if you're going to do the whole spire at once, or a whole tournament at once, see other videos, then you can use that to get yourself a boost. And the last one is the spire itself. If you go in the spire, this little phoenix or bird, I'm not sure what kind of bird it's supposed to be, will show up before each of your levels. And it will, of course it didn't give me what I wanted. It will offer 3 boosts. Usually the troop boosts will be on the right. This is not a troop boost. Since I don't have a troop boost available, I'm going to go for the more mystery chests. The troop boosts will be for a type like light melee or light ranged, and they will start at 15%, but be improved by how much you've upgraded the Vestige of Eternity Ancient Wonder. So you see mine are at 180%. Next time they'll go to being doubled. So that's like 30% towards one troop type, possibly 3 troop types by the time you get to the top of the spire, which is a pretty nice bonus and might lean you to using more of that troop. Okay, as far as I can know or remember, that is all of the ways to make your troops more powerful in Elvenar. Again, stack all of these, or as many of them as you have at once, go into battle, and make sure your troops don't die. And then you can fight over and over and over and over and over until whatever you're doing gets hard enough that it starts killing a lot of your troops, at which point, stop! Hopefully this helps. If I missed anything or you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll try to get around to them eventually. Thanks, have a great day.